Welcome to the Go Find Out podcast. I'm Jennifer Jelliff Russell, author, speaker, and entrepreneur, bringing you actionable ideas and interviews with awesome women to help you pursue your dreams and achieve your goals. You can find more episodes of the Go Find Out podcast by visiting gofindoutpodcast.com. Enjoy the show and go find out. Welcome to the Go Find Out podcast, episode number 33. I'm your host, Jennifer Jelliff Russell. On today's episode, I'm going to tell you how to more effectively use the new year as a jumping off point to start moving towards your goals. This isn't just another let's make some New Year's resolutions message. We all know that those usually only last until about February before you fall back into old habits. So instead, we're going to talk about how to set New Year's resolutions that will actually stick. Before that, I do want to let you know that one of the changes I'm making this New Year's is in this podcast. If you've been listening to the last few episodes, you know I've been shifting things in the show here and there, changing the update section to be a what I'm loving this week segment, and then seeing what it would be like to just drop that update altogether and see how that goes. So this change for the new year will be a little bit of a bigger shift. The thing is, I really want to optimize what you listeners get out of this podcast. So I've decided to flip the dynamic a little bit and do more solo episodes with less guest interviews. So don't worry, I still am going to have some really great guests on the show, but I'm going to see what you think of getting maybe 1 to 2 awesome guests a month, and then having the rest of the shows be shorter, more concise solo episodes with actionable advice for how to deal with all the bullshit that gets in your way when you're going after your goals. And there might also be a little bit more cursing. Okay, with that said, let's jump into this new year, the one that seemed like it would never get here, and let's talk about some New Year's resolutions that will actually stick. First off, welcome to the new year, 2021. I think we're all ready for something a little better than the shit show we've had in 2020, right? And since it's the new year, you might have gotten swept up in the whole new year, new you mantra, right? And, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make some positive changes in your life. I think it's great to set goals and start working towards them. I mean, that's what this show is all about, right? But, and it's a big but, most people don't keep their New Year's resolutions. And it's not because they're weak or lazy or just don't care. It's because they don't set realistic resolutions that have achievable, specific goals. And those are 3 very different aspects of a resolution or goal: realistic, actionable, and specific. So let's take a look at those aspects individually. First, your goal or resolution needs to be realistic. Basically, it needs to be something that's actually achievable. And this is not just me raining on your parade. I'm never going to be the person who tells you that you can't do something. But I will tell you if something is unlikely to be accomplished within a time frame. For example, if I set a goal to write 20 books next year, that's just not really a realistic goal for me. I mean, maybe I could make it happen if the books were really short. But honestly, even then, I'd have to be glued to my computer doing nothing but writing all day. I'd also have to give up this podcast, and I'd certainly have to give up the idea of building a YouTube channel, podcast, and courses for my Evergrowth coach persona. So for me, writing that many books is simply not realistic. So when setting your New Year's goals, ask yourself if your goals are really realistic. Will you really have enough time to achieve what you want to do? If so, go ahead and actually add that thing into your schedule. After all, if it's a realistic goal, then you should be able to fit it into your calendar. The second thing to watch for when setting New Year's goals is to make sure that they are specific goals. You won't want to just say something like, I want to eat healthier this year. What does that even really mean? Heck, at any given time, there's a new dieting trend that's considered healthy. So how will you actually decide what, quote unquote, eating healthy actually means when it comes time to start eating healthy? Instead, make your resolution specific. You might say, I'm going to start eating a serving of vegetables and a serving of fruit once a day. Or maybe eating healthy might consist of giving up meat. Or maybe it's making yourself dinner every night instead of eating out, which I know a lot of us are not doing right now anyway. But hey, 2021, we can hope that we can get back into restaurants. But back to my point, eating healthy, maybe it includes adding a few salads to your meals. Whatever it is, be specific. Another example of being specific with your New Year's resolution could be, let's say, working out. Just saying, I'm going to work out more. It's just not specific enough. But if you say instead, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for at least 15 minutes each time, then you're being specific and you're being realistic if that 15 minutes fits into your daily schedule. Lastly, in order to be successful in achieving your New Year's resolution, your resolution needs to be actionable. You need to be able to take steps towards that goal. For example, winning the lottery is a terrible New Year's resolution. I mean, it would be great if you win, right? But the only step that you can actually take toward winning is buying lottery tickets. And that's kind of it, right? Once you've bought the tickets, you're left to just twiddle your thumbs and wait. So it's not very actionable. Instead, you want to set a New Year's resolution that allows you to take action toward achieving it. For example, if you wanted to run a marathon by the end of the year, then your first step would be to set up a training plan or have someone help you set up a training plan. And it should have milestones along the way, like running a 5K and then a 10K and then a half marathon and finally the marathon. Your actionable steps would consist of setting up the plan and then running every day that your plan tells you to. Starting a business, your actionable steps might be speaking with a business coach or to a small business administration representative to get started. If you're starting a podcast, your actionable steps might be deciding what kind of podcast you want to start, coming up with a name, a logo, a description, and then writing content to record. Yes, there obviously are a lot more steps than that, but you get my point. So setting an actionable New Year's resolution is all about setting a goal that you can start taking steps toward right away. And if you pair that with making sure your goal is realistic as well as specific, you're well on your way to successfully achieving your New Year's resolutions. And actually, I'd love to hear some of your New Year's resolutions. You can DM me on Instagram at GoFindOutPodcast and let me know what they are. I know one of my New Year's resolutions is to run a half marathon in 2021 since I didn't do it this year. So I've signed up for the Maine half marathon in Portland. I definitely have some training to do since I'm only doing 3 miles right now again. So I'll definitely be asking my husband to set up a training plan for me so that I can get back to half marathon running shape. Woohoo! All right, that's it for today. I hope that you're having a great New Year so far. Join me next week when I interview Monica Jasink about her journey in building passive income through real estate investments. Until then, go find out. Thanks for listening to the show today. I hope you found the information beneficial and that it helps you tackle your own Go Find Out goals. You can find more episodes and the show transcripts at gofindoutpodcast.com. You can also let me know what you thought of the show by tweeting me at GFOpodcast or follow me on Instagram at GoFindOutPodcast. That's it for today. Now go find out.